Go on, Honorable Undo.
I see a practical challenge in implementing this particular clause. Very practical challenge. And I want the chair to listen and his technical team. I want them to listen. Assume you have taken a mortgage on a property. You have taken a mortgage on a property. At disposal in the event you default, the Land Act clearly states that the property should not be sold less than 75% of the value, of the market value. Assume you have been servicing and you defaulted. You already have, it's already capped at 75%. That 75% presupposes that the bank should absorb all the attendant costs in respect of the same transaction, to an extent that they don't expect the owner of the property, the borrower, again to go into his pocket to service the outstanding debt. That's the implication.
Thank you.
So that we avoid a case where auctioneers at the banks used to collude and fleece members. Here again, you are bringing this into the arrangement. Thank you.
For Samburu West.
Thank you, Chairman. And having listened to the Chairman of the Finance Committee, it is even better to put the tax before, so that because he has said that it was exempt, you are not paying the tax. It is better for the debtor to know what they're getting themselves into, but not after they are unable to pay, Chairman. And so, and also it doesn't make sense. Is it the creditor who will give the debtor the money so that they pay the tax? You can't overburden that debtor who is not able. So I oppose.
Don't remember for Kitui Central.
You know, Honorable Chairperson, we are addressing a very serious matter here and very simple. What we are saying is, by the time you get to be auctioned, financially you have serious challenges. Now, imagine a situation where, Honorable Chairperson, I'm being auctioned, and my car has been taken to be sold, and then I've been told to pay tax. It really makes it very complicated. So in terms of implementation, Honorable Chairperson of Finance, I think this amendment, you need to get it out of the order paper. Let's think through it, and then you can bring it later. I think that it will be helping the country.
Thank you, members. I now propose a question that the new clause 30A be now read a second time. Will ask. Without opinion. Chair, what's the problem?
So Honorable Chair, listening to honorable members raise their concerns about this particular matter, I think this is a proposal that needs a bit more rethinking, and therefore I beg to withdraw this particular amendment, and now we'll consult further so that we make sure that we do not disadvantage an already disadvantaged defaulter on this particular proposal.
Yeah, that's
so I beg to drop this particular amendment.
Chairman, that's how someone earns the title honorable. Yeah, well done. I therefore, note for records that the new clause 30A is hereby withdrawn. Next clause.
New clause 36A.
All members, I propose a question that the new clause 36A is to be moved for second reading by the chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 36A be now read a second time. So, Honorable Chair, this, as you may recall, we used to have, I think it's called AFCO, the entity that used to supply goods and services to our great men and women in uniform. However, this has since changed to Defense Forces Welfare Services, Honorable Chair, and therefore, this is in line with the amendments we made in December in our tax amendment clause to now provide that services and goods being offered to our women and men in uniform be exempt from taxes, Honorable Speaker. And this also includes also accommodation, restaurant, and beauty salon, and laundry services that are offered by Defense Forces Welfare Services, so that we continue to incentivize these great men and women who offer their entire life to serve this particular country, Honorable Speaker. Also, 36 is also providing is a subsequent amendment for the manufacture of mosquito repellents as I had moved earlier. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this now clause 36A be now read a second time.
I propose the question of members that the new clause 36A be now read a second time. I put the question that the new clause 36A be now read a second time. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other contrary opinions say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I propose the question that the new clause 36A be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 36A be part of the bill. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other contrary opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Excise Duty Act, Cap 472, Clause 38.
Members, I propose the question that clause 38 be part of the bill. Move your amendment, Chair. 38.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 38 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment, these are proposed amendments of paragraph 2, beginning the words proposed definition of digital marketplace and substituting therefore the following new definition. Digital marketplace means an online or electronic platform which enables users to sell or provide services, goods, or other property to other users. Honorable Chair, this is providing clarity to the definition of digital marketplace.
Thank you. All members, I propose the question that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I put the question that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 38 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 39, 40, and 41.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clauses 39, 40, and 41 be part of the bill. And because there are no amendments to those clauses, I put the question that clauses 39, 40, and 41 be part of the bill. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 42.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 42 be part of the bill. Chair, you are amending clause 42.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 42 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, this is providing clarity on particular clauses. You know, one of them is differentiating between imported table eggs and imported eggs that are used for a chicken, for hatching our chicken, Honorable Chair. This also relates to, is also providing different rates, including imported cartons and boxes and paper and imported glass bottles and float gas, Honorable Speaker. So this particular clause is providing for different rates for all these particular products, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair, this is one of the steps that we're saying we must be selfish as a country. That we cannot continue to grow our economy if we become a supermarket. That we must make consistent steps in growing and incentivizing our manufacturing sector. One of these proposals, Honorable Chair, is introducing incentives for local manufacture of cartons that are used for packaging of tea and coffee. As I explained, Honorable Chair, one of the greatest challenges we've been having with the price of our tea and coffee is because we have not built capacity or incentivized our sectors enough to manufacture the packaging materials that are used to package our tea and our coffee. And therefore, we end up exporting our tea and coffee at a very cheap rate, Honorable Chair, in gunias, only for them to end up in our neighboring countries, in Sri Lanka and Dubai, become packaged and come back at almost 1,000 times more than the cost of these particular items. Therefore, we give a very low yield to our farmers, Honorable Speaker, and you have just few people who are just importing our raw materials and bringing them back at exorbitant prices, making all the profit. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
All members, I propose the question that clause 42 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Honorable Member for Samburu West.
Thank you, Chairman. I do support. Value addition is very important for us as a country, as it will increase the yields, as it has been said, and so I support.
Members, I put the question, therefore, that clause 42 amendments proposed by the chair. Will ask many other opinion say aye. Will ask many of the contrary opinion say nay. Ayes have it. And I put the question, members, that clause 42 was amended to be part of the bill. Will ask many other opinion say aye. Will ask many of the contrary opinion say nay. Ayes have it.
New clause 40A.
Members, when the mover move the new clause 40A for second reading.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 40A be now read a second time. Honorable Chair, during public participation, I'll give an example of one entity that came to our committee. They are called Koru Ram. This is a manufacturer based in Koru, in Muhoroni, who converts sugarcane into methanol and prepares a fantastic ram. However, Honorable Chair, for the last 4 years, despite them setting up a plant, they have never been operational. Because the costs of something called a flow meter, that is a requirement of Kenya Revenue Authority, costs in excess of, I think it's 25 million shillings. And therefore, you are requiring a micro brewer who is using our raw materials and creating employment, keeping them without a license for 4 years, because you're requiring them to have a flow meter that costs 25 million shillings. And therefore, but when we asked KRA, they said, no, it's a fault in the law. And therefore, now we provided for this particular exemption, that now is going to exempt these micro distillers from the requirement to have that particular kind of flow meter, so that we can have other alternative macro and cottage industries that can use locally made materials, Honorable Speaker, as an alternative to the killer brews that we have in this country, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move.
Thank you. More members, I propose a question, therefore, that the new clause 40A be now read a second time. The Honorable Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, if there is any amendment that is very powerful in this finance bill, it is this particular amendment.
Because of RAM?
Yes, because of the RAM, Honorable Chair. And I'm speaking as someone who has seen our distillers in Nyamira County making wine out of bananas and sugarcane, and how much they have put very creative, a lot of creativity into it. So, Honorable Chair, this particular one I support with every fiber of my bone.
Members, I put the question. What is out of order? It's just RAM. The honorable member for this is the majority whip or minority whip. Okay, the BBG whip. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's a rule in this House that members must declare interest. Can Honorable Mayaka declare personal interest on this issue? On this amendment, which she says is the most important in the finance bill, can she declare interest?
She did already. She said she's kissy. The Honorable Kaluma.
Chair, thank you for the opportunity. Chair, the reasons given by the chair are very good. Very good. But so that we don't appear to be favoring just some sectors, have we done an overview of all sectors which are similarly affected, so that we don't just go for one or two?
Thank you.
Yeah, and if so, where are those others?
Honorable Chair, there's a question. Order. Honorable Majority Leader, Majority Leader allow us to proceed for a minute. Order. Allow us to proceed for a minute before you go back to this. Just respond to this question, then you can go back to him. This question is, are there other sectors that have been identified the way you've identified the RAM one?
So I just gave that an example, and I think I also need to make a clarification. Actually, that amendment refers to the next I'm going to speak to, but this clause 40A is speaking to making what we call restricted items, which only includes ethanol. But what you've seen is that now the guys that make this illicit liquor have become smart. They're not just using ethanol, they're also using methanol. So we are now putting methanol as a restricted product so that it's from its production all the way to the end is actually observed. But the issue that we are speaking to is actually now in the next amendment, which is also is very crucial. And I just pick Koru Ram as one of the examples. But Honorable Chair, one of the things that we must agree as a House, as a correct way to end the menace of illicit brews, is if we allow other products that are used locally manufactured products into making of liquor, Honorable Chair. We have left the people that want to have a good evening after their nyama choma to very expensive drinks, Honorable Chair. And therefore, the only alternative they have has been this cheap liquor. Methanol, less alcohol, Honorable Chair. And you must agree, it's okay that Honorable Chair, you are titatola, which is fine. But we must agree that Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah here likes to enjoy his drink after having his nyama choma, and we must provide him with other alternatives.
Chair, you know where I come from. Chair, you know where I come from. We make the best changa, so it doesn't matter whether I'm titular or not. But so to be clear, order. So just a minute, Chair. So to be clear, 40A is about restricting the importation of methanol. You have to be clear like that. That 40 is about restricting importation of methanol to make so that we're able to use more healthier ways of making our alcohol. Is that okay? All members, I therefore put the question that the new clause 40A be now read a second time. Will ask another opinion say aye. Will ask another opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Members, I propose the question therefore that the new clause 40A be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 40A be part of the bill. Will ask another opinion say aye. And last minute the opinion say nay. Ayes have it.
New clause 41A.
Honorable Chair, move order. New 41A for.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 41A be now read a second time. And just that we carry the members along, new clause 41 read this as follows. That section 25 of the Excess Duty Act is amended by inserting the following new subsections immediately after subsection 2. Notwithstanding subsection 1A, a licensed micro distiller shall be exempt from the requirement for automation, continuous piping and use of mass flow meters. And 2B, that the production of volume of such a licensed micro distiller shall be ascertained and monitored through the use of excise stamps or such other mechanism as the Commissioner may prescribe by notice in the Gazette. So, Honorable Chair, this is now the matter that we are debating earlier.
You explained it very well.
That now we are requiring that these micro distillers are not required to have a flow meter that costs in excess of 25 million shillings, so that we are able to have an alternative, Honorable Speaker, and end the menace of illicit brews in our country, Honorable Chair.
Thank you.
I beg to move.
I propose a question, therefore, that the new clause 41A be now read a second time. The majority leader.
Chair, let me say I support that amendment, but cautiously. And the question is this, Honorable Speaker. Any distiller, whether you call him a small or micro or a big distiller, 25 million shillings for a distillery is not too much to ask. Therefore, I want to ask the chair, because I wish we had restricted that probably to a period of maybe 3 or 4 to 5 years, so that beyond 3 to 5 years, you must install a flow meter. Because the danger is this, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair. And I know the Honorable Kimani Kuri had mixed up his earlier statement when he called you a teetotaler, and I am the teetotaler. And he knows, being an elder in my church,
You're also mixing up
anything close to alcohol.
You're also mixing issues. I don't take alcohol also.
We are both teetotalers.
So say both of us.
Or he mixed up, he wanted to say the chair and the Kimani Ichung'wah are teetotalers, while the chair of finance enjoys his drink. Because me and you, you know, my church, if I came anywhere close to these things, I would be excommunicated. But I was saying the danger, Chair, is with stamps. Chair, you know, whether it is cigarettes, whether it is drinking water or alcohol, the affixing of stamps on bottles and cigarette packets has been riddled in the past with a lot of many fake stamps. Many done from China. They are sold in the streets, back streets in downtown Nairobi. Therefore, maybe I would want to ask Chair, maybe in the subsequent bill, we restrict this flow meter business to a period of a maximum of 3 years. After 3 years, anyone who is in business should have made money to install the flow meter. Because the flow meter, you will never cheat. But with stamps, cheating will become the order of the day. So I will support for now, but probably ask the Chair, maybe in the next year, to ensure that we restrict that particular provision to be time-bound, maybe to a period of 3 to 5 years. Any business that has operated for 3 to 5 years in the distillery world should be able to make money. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, although it's overtaken by time, let me support the issue of regulating the production of methanol. Because if there is anything that has killed people in this country, especially young people, is consumption of illicit alcohol. The illicit alcohol that is sold to many people in our villages is not ethanol. Most of it is methanol, an industrial alcohol that should never be consumed. Therefore, controlling its production is very commendable, and I thank the committee. Thank you.
The member for Githunguri.
Chair, thank you very much. I rise to give my reservations to the proposal that is made by the Chair regarding flow meters. In as much as I support any effort to regulate illicit alcohol manufacturing in this country, and in as much as we come up with such recommendations like introducing flow meters, we need to be careful. Because we don't know, some of us don't know, and would want to understand from the Chair, these flow meters, how much are they? Is this a heavy investment that will make small businesses not able to afford these flow meters?
He said it's 25 million.
It is 25 million. So it means that once we introduce these flow meters, in as much as we want to discourage the illicit alcohol manufacture in this country, we might force some people out of business, which are legal business. They have been making the right quantity, the right quality of alcohol. 25 million is a lot of investment. So how are we going to make sure that we don't force people out of this business?
Thank you.
Number two, Mr. Speaker and Mr. Chairman, I am worried that in this proposal where the chairman is talking about the commissioner, we are giving commissioner of taxes a lot of powers. And these powers, if they are not checked, they are going to be misused.
Member for Seme. Now, this is the last
Chair,
person on this. Please allow me to remove.
As I support these amendments, an issue is coming here, which seems to be an issue of regulation. Why is a flow meter necessary? And if you go back to why would you use methanol if you can use ethanol? So the question that is coming to me we should look at, and then maybe we'll have to look at, is there some regulatory function that is left loose so that we are trying to solve that through taxation, where we would have actually just needed a regulator who would know we need that. So I think that is, Mr. Speaker, that's what I think we should look at in the alcohol industry. How is the regulation done? What are we missing out? I support.
1 minute. Thank you. 1 minute. Honorable Kaluma.
Yeah, I have a question to the chairman. Chairman Finance, I have a question.
Order.
And maybe...
There's a question to the chairman.
Yeah, the chairman needs to follow. My question is this. For those who already have the flow meter, what happens to them? I need to know, because now we're introducing the stamps. Yeah. So will they continue and the stamps or together? You know, it's important to know.
Thank you, Chair. And Chair, before you answer, for the sake of what Honorable Chingwa has said, is there a way, because Kenyans are innovating, can't we get cheaper flow meters? Can that be innovated? Chair, you answer that so that we can make progress.
So thank you, Honorable Chair. And I really share with all the sentiments raised at the floor of this House, including the ones raised by my senior, the leader of majority. So 2B is providing for the production volume of such a licensed microshare shall be ascertained and monitored through the use of accessible stamps. So the issue of accessible stamps is not optional. They must use the accessible stamps. The only matter we are exempting from, and these are the new micro distillers, the ones that are not ready in the market. The ones in the market must continue the flow meters, is now not requiring them to have that particular flow meter, because as you had explained, the cost of building a micro distillery is around 10 to 15 million. That is the entire capital investment to create a micro distillery. And now you're telling a cottage industry that has already invested 15 million to set up the entire plant that they need to get another 25 million shillings just to have a flow meter. However, the issue of abuse of this particular clause is something that we must also be awoke to as a house. And therefore, one of the recommendations that we should be making in our report and to Kenya Revenue Authority is then where they are not required to have a flow meter, then there needs to be a verifiable way of the use of that, whether it's ethanol on a butcher, which includes technologies such as CCTV. Because the essence of a flow meter is, because methanol and ethanol, with the passage of this law, in addition of methanol, are now controlled products, is to show Company X received 1,000 liters of ethanol. How much liquor did they make from that 1,000 liters of ethanol? So to verify that that ethanol was actually used for the purpose in which it was supposed to be used for and was not leaked into the market now as illicit liquor on a chair. So we will find a way of now working with, communicating with the Kenyan Revenue Authority and requiring these particular entities to provide evidence in a way that KRA can verify, another security agency can verify that this ethanol is actually used for the purpose in which it was acquired, because that is the essence of flow meters. And lastly, the issue of innovation. I think this is a business opportunity to any Kenyan who is listening to this particular conversation. A flow meter cannot be costing 25 million shillings. It just means that there could be some monopolies in that particular sector that is against the price so that they maximize on the returns. And therefore, if you're able to have cheaper alternatives, then that will be the best for the country.
Oh, members, I now put the question, therefore, that the new clause 40, the new clause, we will have to make progress. There's a chance, order, there's a chance for you to contribute in the next phase of this. I put the question that the new clause 41A be now the second time. Will last minute opinion say aye? Will last minute opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the new clause 41A be part of the bill. The Honorable Thuku, quickly.
Chair, thank you. On the same issue, you see, who is the merchant of these flow meters? Because this a pertinent question that has been asked. Are there no cheaper meters, flow meters for the same? Chair, we have been using stamp duties. Where are we moving? Is it that we cannot enhance that technology as opposed now to this kind of investment that is proposed? Because honestly, if you're talking about...
What is proposed?
The flow meter.
They're removing it. They're not introducing it.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, we would wish to know, we have installed this accessible goods management system. There's an installation in KRA of accessible goods management system. Why can't we just enhance that system instead of bringing in new amendment into the same? I think we need to relook deeper into this issue. We may not get a foolproof system whereby now we are going to account for all the methanol or ethanol that has gotten into some industry or factory, and therefore I think to some extent I have reservation on this one.
Honorable Kaluma, quickly.
Yeah, Chair, I'm just seeking a clarification. I understand the flow meter, and I would request the majority leader to listen to me, to be a requirement.
It's not the move of this.
It's a requirement, Chair, so that you regulate the amount of these alcoholic products you unleash to the market, and to enable also the distillers to account for whatever they produce and unleash. And so there is a social good that it is playing. To date, I understand the chair to be saying that we want to create a pathway around which even the steelers who have not installed the so-called flow meter can operate. That is what I understand him to be saying. And if that is the direction, then number one, I will oppose this provision. Because number two, for that to settle good, that we need to regulate what is going and account for them. Around alcohol, the reason as to why we impose, excise, tax. But for the other reason, Chair, that we will be creating disparities. Some people have incurred costs, installed these flow meters. You are allowing others to enter the market without installing them. But ultimately, I wanted to make something which I'm making as the last point, Chair, if you would permit. Chair, when you come with a finance bill, there is the amount of money you target to raise. So unless we are explaining the amount of money we are costing the government in terms of revenue loss, we should not accept amendments.
All members, I put the question, therefore, that the new clause 41A be part of the bill. Will ask another opinion say aye? Will ask another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C.
Honorable members. Honorable Chair, move these three clauses for second reading.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 42A, 42B, and 42C be now read a second time. So, Honorable Chair, 42A and 41 and 42. So, 42A is seeking to impose a 5% excess duty on amounts deposited in a customer's wallet. And this amendment is seeking to impose excess on fees charged on transaction by virtual asset providers. So, two things. When you're placing a bet, the current acquisition regime is, say you have money on your mobile wallet, whether it's M-Pesa or Airtel Money. And then you transfer that money to the wallet of the betting company. So the time of charging of excise duty is when you place a bet, when that money already is placed in the wallet of the betting institution. Now we are changing that to now making this excise duty to be payable when you transfer money from your mobile wallet to the betting company wallet. So this has this impact. There are so many institutions that operate virtually, for example, in the country, and therefore we're not able to get this excess duty from them. But now it means that every time you transfer money from their mobile wallet to the wallet of the betting company, then that is a time when excess duty is paid. And secondly is, again, as a question amendment to what we provided earlier on excess duty now being paid for virtual assets on transaction fee and not the transaction amount. 42B is defining the term amount deposited in the customer's wallet, as I have explained. And 42C is again as a constitutional amendment that I had spoken to earlier about accessible services offered by Kenya Defense Forces Welfare Services. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the new clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C be now read a second time. Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, 42C talks about the Defense Forces welfare again. And even though we supported the earlier amendment, I know, Honorable Chairperson, these things we used to call kafoka out there, they are not exclusive. When they are in the barracks, they are somewhat exclusive because for you to access them, you have to go through some vetting. So when they're out there, and anybody can access them, I'm wondering whether we will not be causing market imbalances. Because imagine, Honorable Chairperson, you have your own restaurant in a town, and you have one in your town, and they're enjoying these tax benefits. It means their prices are going to be cheaper and all that. So even though we are supporting, I think we need to be a bit cautious to ensure that we don't cause market imperfections and then end up killing some business in the locality.
Thank you. Well, members, I now propose the question that the new clauses 42 42A, 42B, and 42C be read a second time. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Will last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I propose the question, members, that the new clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C be part of the bill. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Will last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Tax Procedure Act, Cap 469B, clauses 43, 44, 45, and 46.
Members, I propose a question that clauses 43, 44, 45, and 46 part of the bill. There being no amendments to those clauses, members, I put the question that clauses 43, 44, 45, 46 be part of the bill. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 47.
I propose the question that clause 47 is part of the bill. Chairperson, clause 47.
42D. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 47 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is seeking to remove the restriction from appealing. So, Honorable Chair, this clause 47 is again one of the clauses that was highly contested during public participation. Because when you go to, when you appeal, for example, for your tax, you're given a tax assessment and then you go to appeal to it, then this particular proposal was requiring for you to pay, this particular provision currently in law disallows KRA from issuing an agency notice where you have appealed the decision for your assessment by KRA. But now, Treasury was seeking to delete that clause, which means that once you've been issued with an assessment, even before you appeal, then they could issue an agency notice to you. So we agree with the members of the public, and that's why we are proposing to delete this particular clause.
All members, I propose a question that clause 47 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 47 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Will last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 47 as amended be part of the bill. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Will last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 48 and 49.
All members, clauses. I propose the question that clauses 47, 48, and 49 be part of the bill. These ones have no amendments, members. I therefore put the question that clauses 48 and 49 be part of the bill. Will last minute of opinion say aye? And last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 50.
Members, I propose a question that clause 50 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you got an amendment to clause 50.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 50 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is seeking to allow for offset of value-added tax payable on imports. So, Honorable Chair, this again came from public participation from especially our manufacturers that said, when they import raw materials for value addition, and those raw materials are subject to VAT, then they're not being allowed to claim that input VAT on the imports, Honorable Chair, when they are computing their output tax. And therefore, we agreed with the manufacturers that we try to grow our manufacturing sector, and that's the import of this particular amendment, Honorable Chair.
Remember, I propose a question that clause 50 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 50. Chairman Budget, what is itching you?
Chairman, I want to oppose that amendment.
Which one?
That amendment where we are zero rating the raw materials.
Go ahead.
Chairman, okay, I wanted to make an observation, Chairman, even before we go on. That point which was raised by Kaluma, where we are questioning zero rating of some of or most of these items.
There's no Kaluma in this house, member. Is this
Honorable Kaluma?
Yes, Honorable
Kaluma. Honorable Kaluma, I would like to ask my counterpart, the Chairman of Finance, that at least we really quantify some of these things. I want to know the implication of the amendments in terms of revenue losses. I would like, Chairman, that we go that direction so that any amendment that is brought before us, if it has an impact on raising revenue or lowering or cutting revenue, we need to know. Because otherwise, Honorable Chair, I'm going to move the appropriations bill here. And you will see, Honorable Chair, that one of the struggles we are going to face is on revenue-raising measures.
Now,
so I would like you to, through your chair, to help us count for the amendments and what impact do they have in terms of revenue-raising.
Now, I'm going to allow Chair to respond to that, but only on this clause. On any other clauses, I will request the Chair of Finance and the Chair Budget to sit and speak together. We can't have this on the floor of the House. It never happens. It's never happened. I won't allow it to happen. Chair Finance and Chair Budget must consult before any of this. So, okay, the Honorable Member for Cases, what is out of order? Before you respond, Chair.
No, I just wanted to support my chair by informing you that we've taken care of that,
okay,
as you've advised accordingly.
Okay.
Being a member of the committee.
Chair Finance. Chair Finance.
So Honorable Chair, I totally understand where the Chair of Budget Committee is speaking from. But we must desist from using the finance bill as just a tool for raising revenue. The finance bill should inform policy for our country. And for this, our committee has stood aground on several matters. We have a national tax policy that informs that we must have consistent laws and consistent legislation. We granted some of these exemptions in December. 4 months, 5 months later, we are taking back what we said. Welcome to our country. Go invest in a company in Siaya, in Homa Bay. You'll get investment deduction if you invest outside Nairobi and Mombasa. Someone took a loan of 10 billion and is setting up a factory in Homa Bay, a factory in Siaya, a factory in Nakuru. 6 months later, you're telling no. Because we're going to lose revenue here, you cannot continue to invest there. We must be consistent. There are 2 ways of collecting revenue. You can extrapolate and say, if you delete this, this is how much you lose. It is true. For example, the reintroduction of investment deduction for investment outside Nairobi and Mombasa will definitely lead to a consequential, the foregone taxes that we might have collected. But what is the far-reaching effect? That company sets up in Nakuru, in Siaya, in Kisumu, in Homa Bay, in Samburu, will employ people, they are going to pay as you want. Will make a profit, they are going to pay corporation tax. We must not be short-sighted in views of looking for numbers at the expense of making our country competitive globally.
Okay, but I advise that Chair Budget and Chair Finance, I order that you and the Chair Budget must consult so that we don't have this kind of a situation again. I want to put the question. But we're not doing policy. Go ahead. No, I don't want debate on these matters. The Honorable Member for Seme.
Chair, what we are listening to is a very, very major policy issue. When the finance bill comes to us, it follows the budget. So the budget has been read, and we know we are going to raise so much revenue. The finance bill is the mechanism for raising that revenue. And one would expect that there was an earlier consideration, and that is how we reached this finance bill, so that we'll raise that revenue. If now comes out that actually there was no consultation earlier, so that the chair of finance and the chair of the budget don't agree, then we are not sure what you are saying, that in the future, we are actually going to have a problem with our revenue.
Thank you. The member for Odhaya.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Chair Finance. Chair, the same way, what the chair is saying is there people have already started investing because of the relief that of taxes. The same way, can he protect the people who have invested here? You add levy, people have borrowed money, have invested, have planned to do business, then you add levy. The plan which was there was based by the policy of the country. And then, when you have started doing business, already you have invested, you have planned, you have consulted, you have already bought the machine, you add levy without consulting the country. You are killing the people, the same thing you are protecting those people you're investing today. Protect the same people, Chair Finance. The people who have invested, the people who have already invested, before you add the policy, shake those people first.
Thank you. The Honorable Majority Leader. Majority Leader. And this is the last word on this.
Chair, I think that matter is more or less settled between the two chairs. But I just want to say, we should not be worried. This is the beauty of democracy. The chair finance is protecting his staff. The chair budget is protecting the expenditure side. Just the revenue mobilizer is protecting the revenue mobilization. And I know the chair budget also has a stake in the revenue that is raised, because he will not expend anything without the revenue being raised by Honorable Kimani. However, the two of them, the two chairs, have one common person between them, which is the National Treasury, that now will balance the expenditure side and the revenue side. So we shouldn't be worried.
And they serve one country. I propose the question, honorable members. I put the question, honorable members, that I put the question. I now put the question. There is nothing questionable about this. No, order. Let me listen to Honorable Kaluma. Let me listen to you. Just get your point first. But Honorable Kaluma, can you raise your point?
Kaluma, you have the microphone.
It's not going anywhere.
Honorable Speaker.
It wasn't your chance, Honorable Mili. It was not your chance.
Honorable Chair, I'm standing under the provisions of Article 114, sub-Article 2.
Order, members, order. Honorable Kaluma, you have 1 minute to prosecute this.
No, but Chair,
No,
there
go
are
ahead.
consultations
go
in front of me.
Go ahead. You were part of that consultation.
Why don't you give me
You were part of this 30 seconds.
I was not.
Order, members. Go ahead.
Yes, I thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, my position is that the finance bill is a money bill under Article 114. And the finance bill having been brought, the requirement of sub-Article 2 is that if any amendments are to be proposed, the concurrence or consultation of the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary must be sought. Could we have confirmation that that happened now that the chair of budget and appropriation and the chair in charge of finance and national planning are appearing not to be in agreement?
Thank you.
Yes.
A very simple matter, Honorable Kaluma. That is not for this House to decide. These amendments we're prosecuting were approved by the Speaker of this House. That is the only confirmation you need, and you have the confirmation. I now put the question, members, that clause 50 as amended be part of the bill. Will suspend other opinion say aye? Will suspend opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 52.
Members, I propose the question that clause 52 part of the bill. Sorry, members, just 1 minute, Honorable Chair. Clause 51 first.
Yeah, clause 51.
I propose the question that clause 51 is part of the bill. Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, beg to remove that clause 51 be amended as per the order paper. Clause 51 of the bill be amended in the proposed subsection 7B by deleting the words computed and subbing therefore the words computed from. This amendment, Honorable Chair, is just a cleanup.
Members, I propose the question that clause 51 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 51 be amended as proposed by the chair. Suspend other opinion say aye. Suspend the opinion say nay. Ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 51 as amended be part of the bill. Will suspend other opinion say aye? Will suspend the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 52.
Members, I propose the question that clause 52 be deleted. Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 52 be deleted as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, clause 52, as in the bill, was reads as follows: Section 59A of the Tax Procedures Act is amended by deleting subsection 1B. So, Honorable Chair, this is a discussion that came from public and intense public participation, and I want to bring to the comfort of this House and to the members of the public, this is one of the areas that we debated a lot as a committee, and we agreed that we cannot allow, Honorable Speaker, this amendment, and therefore we are proposing its deletion. This was a proposal that was now removing the restriction. And Honorable Chair, allow me just to take 3 minutes to take you through this proposal.
You have one.
Section 59A of the Tax Procedures Act reads as follows: Data management and reporting system. The commissioner may establish a data management and reporting system for the submission of electronic documents, including detailed transaction data relating to the documents. Then 1A, that the commissioner may by notice in writing require permission to integrate the electronic tax system authorized under section 75 to the system referred to in subsection 1 of the for the purpose of submission of electronic documents, including detailed transaction data in the precise form. So this therefore means, Honorable Chair, that the commissioner has powers to require you to integrate your system with that of Kenya Revenue Authority. However, in the wisdom of this House, it provided for another section 1B, which reads as follows: the commissioner shall not, know the words, shall not require a person to integrate or share data relating to A, trade secrets, and B, private or personal data held on behalf of the customers or collected in the course of business. Now, this clause 52 was proposed to delete 59(1)B, which was now excluding that when you are integrate, that the commissioner will not require you to integrate data relating to 1, trade secrets, and 2, private and personal data. All the members of the public that appeared before us said that that provision needs to be deleted. Okay. And we agree with the members of the public that this particular provision be deleted. It goes against our constitutional right to privacy and goes even against our other laws on data, on data and privacy, Honorable Chair.
Members, I propose the question, therefore, that clause 52 be deleted. I put the question that clause 52 be deleted. Last many of the opinion say aye. Last many of the opinion say nay. Ayes have it.
Clause 53.
Members, I propose that clause 53 be part of the bill. Because there's no amendment on it, I put the question that clause 53 be part of the bill. Last many of the opinion say aye. Last many of the opinion say nay. Ayes have it.
Clause 54.
I propose the question of members that the clause 54 be deleted.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 54 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, the tax amendment, again, the tax procedures amendment bill, act now, or bill that we did in this Honorable Chair, sought to exclude weekends and public holidays when calculating time. Now, the Treasury now wanted to bring back the issue that of not excluding weekends and weekdays and public holidays in calculation of time. We disagree with National Treasury and agree with the members of the public that we need to exclude weekends and public holidays in calculation of the time when you're supposed to either reply to the commissioner or submit particular data to KRA.
Thank you. All members, I propose the question that clause 54 be deleted. I now put the question that clause 4 be deleted. As many of the opinion say aye. And as many of the opinion say nay. Ayes have it.
Clauses 55 and 56.
All members, I propose that clauses 55 and 56 be part of the bill. Because there are no amendments there, members, I put the question that clauses 55 and 56 part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 42D.
Honorable Chair, move clause 42D for second reading.
Clause
42D. The new clause 42D for second reading.
Honorable Chair, beg to move that new clause 42D be now read a second time. So, Honorable Chair, this clause is seeking to define what we are calling certificate of origin. So, Honorable Chair, this is meant to cure a mischief that happens. So when some goods are being imported into the country, they are declared as raw materials. Honorable Chair, only for you to realize they are actually finished products. And a good example has been in edible oils, where some scrupulous business people have been importing edible oils as a finished product, but declaring it as a semi-processed or raw material. And therefore, this has led to a lot of leakage in terms of our revenue, Honorable Speaker. So we are now requiring that during, Honorable Chair, the leader of majority party is naming some names, which I want to request to him to adhere to our standing orders when they need to name names in this house, Honorable Chair. So this now will require them that they must present a document from the certificate of origin certified by credible institutions to show what cargo is coming to this country. And this will cure now the issue of misdeclaration at our points of entry, Honorable Chair. I beg to...
All members, I propose the question therefore, that the new clause 42D be now read a second time. Honorable Oundo.
Chair, I strongly support with this amendment. And this, Chair, is also trying to enhance the amendments that we did on the Business Laws Bill in December that made amendments to the Standards Act on the issuance of certificate of origin. Secondly, Chair, it also cures a very interesting mischief, whereby, and this, Chair, I say so, we have been interacted with this SEPA between Kenya and UAE, United Arab Emirates. The fear is that we are going to have those countries that don't manufacture anything as conduits to bring goods manufactured elsewhere to flood our market. So insisting on certificate of origin means that we must confirm if you are importing, that product must have been manufactured in that country.
Thank you.
It's not on transit.
Honorable Nkatha. Oh, remember, I cannot see your card. Go ahead. I don't know.
Thank you, Chair. For us to support our local manufacturers, I support this amendment by the Chair, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Kaluma, what's that?
Let me support this amendment. Chair, these are the kinds of amendments we need in the finance bill. We are losing a lot. And so one of the reasons why we have this finance bill this year is to entrench tax efficiency and accountability.
Thank you.
And this is one such provision. And Chair, let me thank you. Since you allowed us to intervene, the Chair is now explaining these things in the details that
Thank you so much, all members.
To get them.
I now put the question that the new clause 42D be now read a second time. Last minute of the opinion say aye. Last minute the opinion say nay. Ayes have it. I propose the question, members, that the new clause 42D be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 42D be part of the bill. Will last minute of the opinion say aye. Last minute the opinion say nay. Ayes have it.
New clause 49A.
Honorable Chair, move the new clause 49A for second reading.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 49A be now read a second time. Again, this is bringing even more clarity to the issue that I spoke earlier, that is providing for the details that should be provided for in the certificate of origin, which includes the following: name and address of the exporter, name and address of the importer, port of origin, accurate description of the goods, keyword here, accurate, quantity of the goods, country of origin and country of destination. And we are saying that any person who contravenes this provision commits an offense and shall have their goods seized or forfeited to the commissioner or another officer in accordance with this act. Honorable Speaker, this therefore amendment is seeking to provide clear details of what are you importing, so that we avoid this issue of some manufacturers importing finished products in this country declaring them as raw materials, getting exemptions, only for them to just repackage them and sell them like they are manufacturing in our country. I beg to move on, Abu Chair.
All members, I propose a question. Order. I propose a question that the new clause 49A be now read a second time.
Thank you, Chair. This is a very important amendment. Actually, not just for manufacturers to declare what it is that they are importing. COC is a very important document, even in terms of making sure that substandard stuff is not imported into this country. Therefore, I really support this amendment, and I believe it's enforced only that now these details have not been well captured. Now that the details are captured, we are going to rid off any kind of substandard importations.
Thank you. This requires very keen eyes in implementation. All members, I therefore put the question that the new clause 49A be now read a second time. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it. I propose the question therefore, members, that the new clause 49A be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clause 49A be part of the bill. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many of the opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, Cap 496C, Clause 57.
Members, I propose that clause 57 be part of the bill, and there's no amendment to it, so I put the question that that clause 47 be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 58.
Well, members, I propose the question that clause 58 be part of the bill. Chair, your amendment to this?
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 58 be amended as per the order paper. This speaks to the earlier discussion that we had about mosquito repellents, exempting them now from IDF and RDL. And these are raw materials that will be used for the manufacture of mosquito repellents in our country.
All members, I order. All members, I propose the question that clause 58 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 58 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 58 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 59.
All members, I propose the question that clause 59 be part of the bill. Chair. Chair, clause 59.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 59 be amended as per the order paper. This is providing for the different rates for export and promotion levy. Again, matters that are meant to promote our local manufacturing. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Members, I propose the question that clause 59 be amended as proposed by the chair. And I now put the question that clause 59 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I now put the question that clause 59 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 56A.
Honorable members, I now call the chair to move the new clause 56A for second reading. Yes, there's a new clause 56A on page 1655.
Yes, thank you. So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 56A be now read it a second time. Honorable Chair, this is a provision that again we had in the Finance Bill of 2024 that was seeking to ring fence 10%, 10% of money collected through the Miscellaneous and Levies Act to be used for the digitalization of services at the Kenya Revenue Authority, Honorable Chair. One of the things, Honorable Chair, that you may realize, and even to the issue that you spoken earlier, that we're now amending the Tax Procedures Act to require some particular details on the certificate of origin, is when goods arrive in our points of entry, there is now that form that we fill, the CIF that we fill, showing I've imported goods of this particular description. But Honorable Chair, it takes a manual inspection comparing what the importer has filled in their documentation and looking at the physical good to verify if the two details match. Honorable Chair, at the time, and I'm happy that this House was having a discussion in the morning about artificial intelligence, during at a time when we have such technologies, including AI, it's important that some of these particular services be digitalized so that it's not a manual confirmation of what someone has declared and again the goods, because again these are some of the revenue leakages that you've seen that is leading to a lot of revenue, Honorable Chair. I beg to move.
So members, I propose the question that the new clause 56A be now read a second time. So members, I put the question that the new clause 56A be now read a second time. Will as many of the opinions say aye? Will as many of the opinions say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I propose the question that the new clause 56A be part of the bill. Yes, Honorable Makali Mulu.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Even as I support this, Honorable Chairman, I'm a bit concerned that we are creating an additional fund. You know, these funds, they have become so many in this country, and some have outlived their usefulness. How I wish we could reduce creation of more funds, because issues of accountability when it comes to a fund, Mr. Chairman, becomes very tricky.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
So, Honorable Chair, I'd like to give comfort to my senior, Dr. Makali Mulu, that this particular provision is not creating an additional fund. And among the people at the floor of this House who has been very vocal on this, that we need to rethink about the many funds that we have in this country. So the only thing that this is doing, as we speak, KRA collects taxes on behalf of government. So these monies are banked at the Central Bank of Kenya. But for KRA to expense on the approved expenditures, they have to rely on exchequer, just like all the other entities. And you've seen situations where even insurance, medical insurance for staff of the authority have been cancelled because they're not able to pay on time. So we are creating just a little ring-fencing that they can, enhancing their ANA, Honorable Chair, so that at least they have some leeway, even when they are not, there are delays in exchequer, Honorable Chair, so that they are able now to move forward, Honorable Chair. I beg.
Thank you.
The Honorable Member, Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu.
The Honorable Buchomba.
Chair, in as much as I support the reinvesting of some money so that we can be able to be a bit more efficient, I'm just concerned that this is also a creation of a new expenditure. Because you know, every fund that we create requires a secretariat or a board to manage the fund. So are we not worried that we are looking for money? Yes, we are raising money and revenue, but we are creating an expenditure. So I have my reservations, Chair.
The Honorable Makali Mulu.
You know, Mr. Chairman, what the chairman is explaining makes a lot of sense. But what is on this bill? He says shall be paid into a fund established and managed. So unless what he's saying is not what is in the bill, that's why I was raising this matter, that if he was talking about ring-fencing the resources, I have no problem. But we are establishing a fund, Mr. Chairman, as per this amendment.
The word fund and to use is the word.
The Honorable Mayaka.
Chair, I think maybe, and I hope the Chair Finance is listening, maybe the thing that Chair Finance should do for us is give us a cost-benefit analysis that explains creating this fund versus what is being lost without it, and ring fencing this amount so that we can understand where this is coming from. Because this could be one of those costs that you incur costs, but for a specific benefit, or the other way around. So maybe we need to understand the cost-benefit analysis.
Honorable Mboko.
The chair has to explain, because he's creating a fund and he's not saying who is going to manage that fund. And therefore that will become another loophole of the same monies that we want to protect for government use. And I think, again, just like we dealt with the other clause, which he did withdraw, it's very important he clarifies creating of this fund. Remember, we had gone slow on creation of funds and such like organizations, and who is managing it? So it is dangerous for ourselves and the operations of government.
Thank you. The member for Homa Bay Town.
Yeah, Chair, we have a budget of over 4 trillion, and that budget, the revenue for it is mainly to be collected by Kenya Revenue Authority. By practice and by international, practice, the revenue authorities are usually to be budgeted about between 1.5 to 2% of the revenue. Now, because of our fiscal space, Chair, we are giving them far, far less. So the request that KRA made, and we are healing by this, to enable them more efficiently raise revenue and collect revenue to fund the budget, is that we ring fence a portion of the monies. It is just an A in A, but we are calling it going into a fund to be managed by them for purposes of their work.
Thank you.
And if that happens, we will get more revenue in the process. If you just left it that it is an A in A, accountability issues arise and it becomes very difficult.
Thank you.
So I would urge that we support this provision.
Member for Chairperson. Chairperson, go ahead.
So maybe if I could, and thank you, honorable members, for raising your concerns. Just to give clarity to what this is, if you read the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, Part 3 on imposition of levies and fees, 7, there shall be a fee to be known as the import declaration fee on all goods imported into the country for home use. So if you check now 2A, 5, an importer shall present 6. Out of the fee collected under subsection 2, 10% shall be paid into a fund established and managed according to the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A. 7, the monies in the fund under subsection 6 shall be used for the payment of Kenya's contribution to the African Union and other international organizations to which Kenya has a financial obligation. So there already exists a fund where, as you speak, 10% of monies collected as import declaration fee goes into to pay for foreign obligations,
correct,
including the African Union and other international obligations. So what you're saying, into these funds is an increase of an additional 10% that now will go into reinforcing the digitalization of operations within the Kenya Revenue Authority. So there is no creation of an additional fund. We're just saying that where these monies are going to pay international obligations, can we also have some operations that goes now to digitizing these particular services that are done by KRA? And remember, we are coming from a point where we have no fiscal space, to fund some of these expenditures, Honorable Chair, by the authority.
Thank you. Thank you. Just for clarity, Chair, they currently get 10% of this fund, right? Yes. No, Chair. Okay, Chair budget.
I wanted to say just something. Chair, the amendment is good, but we have the potential of giving KRA resources they don't need. Because when we were doing the budgets, KRA appeared before us through the Finance Committee, and they never told us that KRA needs excessive amounts of money, Mr. Chairman. So I think what the chairman needs to do is to tell us what will be the amount of these resources. And KRA is well funded, Mr. Chairman. Under my leadership, KRA is well funded to collect resources, to collect taxes. So unless we know this 10% will be how much money. Thank you.
Now, I said it, and I think this should be the last time Chair Budget and Chair Finance, this is a spectacle that is never seen in Parliament at this stage. You should avoid it in future. Member for Keses.
Thank you, Chair. I want to liken this particular discussion with a farmer, the traditional farmer who uses oxen to plow. At most of the time, when a farmer uses oxen to plow, the farmer always reserves the produce to feed back the oxen to give back their energy. What we are saying here for Kenya Revenue, that is an entity that has been tasked to mobilize and collect resources to finance our budget. What they are just asking is, because of the dynamic nature of the systems and technology in the world, they are always found on the side that they don't have ability to adjust and ensure that they onboard technology that is able to move with the systems and enhance their coalition and effectiveness. So what is the lose or what is the cost for us to allow only 2% to retain from this idea?
Thank you,
so that
thank you. The Honorable Lesuda.
Thank you, Chairman. Having listened to the Chairman Finance, I'm convinced it's not a fund. It is for a specific issue. My question is, will you digitize forever? Does this thing have a time frame? Because of the amount, first we need to know how much, and we need, and Honorable Kaluma should declare his interest here as he walks around. We need to know how much that 10% is, because when you come before the budget committee, you explain, this is what we need, and for this. So will this run in eternity? Because it needs to have a time frame. After digitizing, you need to stop the collecting of that money.
As the chair gets his answer, Honorable Thuku.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This is a very pertinent question that is being raised by members. Because you see, ring fencing and expenditure that is known, like digitization. The other one is our obligations, international obligations. These are expenditures that are known. They can be quantified, and therefore we do not need to ring fence. Let KRA come before the budget committee and say, this is the much we want, and the same be appropriated through this house.
Thank you. Member for Dagoretti North.
Thank you, Chair. You know, Chair, it's not that we are really hard on our finance chair. But then, you see, when you have monies ring-fenced for AU, Chair, which in this house you can create a vote for all international organizations. We have IALA, we have, why AU and leave IALA then? Because they are all those organizations. It means IALA has a vote. And the African Union can get out of here. In fact, they are not supposed to be here. They should be under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Honestly, Chair, that is how we budget, and then we find ourselves in a bad crisis.
Honorable Chair Finance.
Honorable Chair, I think this is the beauty, some of the beauties of democracy in this, engaging this very good debate. So, Honorable Chair, and I can understand where the Chair for Budget is speaking from. But now, you know, unfortunately...
Order. The Honorable Kaluma and the Honorable Tand, you must listen to the Chair Finance.
So, unfortunately, he just became a Chair of Budget the other day. So, and he doesn't... he aggregates the whole budget. The state departments around National Treasury, including KRA, is an entity that is oversighted by the Committee of Finance and National Planning. And I dare say, Honorable Chair, hold your horses, Honorable Atandi. I'll explain to you.
You're going to have a chance.
The resource requirement for Kenya Revenue Authority is 56 billion, as per their presentation before our committee. KRA does not present to budget committee, they present to the Committee of Finance and National Planning, because we're the ones who is the department committee. Out of this 56 billion, we were only able to accommodate 32 billion shillings. And they're telling us, you want to give us roles to go and raise revenue. Yet, we don't even have our own medical insurance. And unfortunately, after I had a discussion with the chair budget, I said, well, where can we raise an additional 20 billion? There was no fiscal space. The KRA Act, Honorable Chair, provides that KRA shall be funded up to 2% of their collection. As we speak, this particular budget, which is the estimates that we're going to discuss tomorrow on the appropriations, only gives them 1.02%, against even what is recommended by law of around 2%. In fact, one of the recommendations that we're receiving from public participation is maybe we need to make the 2.5%, the 2%, at least 2% and not up to 2%. We have an entity, Honorable Chair, that we require to raise revenue for this country. For the last 10 years, there has never been a salary adjustment for any of those staff. These are the same staff we are sending to do an assessment on a taxpayer who has an assessment of 100 million shillings. What are you telling them? They have not had a salary increase for the last 10 years. They do not have a medical insurance that if they get sick, they can't go to the hospital. And there are people you are sending them to taxpayer. That's why we are saying there is no fiscal space to do that. That is why we are saying, Honorable Chair, can we have creative ways of funding these particular entities without increasing taxation? And this is one of the proposals that this proposal is seeking to do, Honorable Chair.
Okay, this is done. Honorable Tandi, the last word on this so that we
Chair,
know
the chair of finance is my friend, and when we joined Parliament, we sat with him in the finance committee. And I understand the explanation he's giving us towards justifying this particular fund for KRA. Honorable Chair, you are a member of Budget Committee. When the chairman came before us to defend his budget, departmental budgets, he never told us that KRA needs such amount of money. That did not come. I can even produce the answer. And Chair, if it is a matter of KRA sorting out the issues to do with KRA staff in terms of their staff increases, salary increases, that we can do, Chairman, and that we have done, and you know we have done that. Chairman, I'm of the view that if we are to give blanket, allocation to KRA, this is something that other government agencies will also want. And I don't think we want to do it. Let us collect taxes and put it in one basket, and people who want that money come to Budget Committee, defend themselves, and then we give them the money. This is a very bad precedent. Members, I would like you to reject this particular amendment. Thank you.
This will then go either way. Members, I therefore put the question that the new clause 57, the new clause 56A, be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Oh, members, I propose order. Order. Oh, members, I propose the question that the new clause 56A be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 56A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Are you writing for a division, Honorable Suda? Are you getting the numbers? Next clause.
Provisions relating to the Stamp Duty Act, Cap 480, Clause 60.
Oh, members, I propose a question that Clause 60 be part of the bill. And because there's no amendment, I put the question that Clause 60 be part of the bill. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Title.
Oh, members, I propose a question that the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 1.
Members, I propose the question that Clause 1 be part of the bill. Because there's no amendment, I put the question that Clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Chairperson. Chairperson to move for reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its question of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable members, order. Honorable members, I put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Members, the next bill in the order paper for the Committee of the Whole House this afternoon, or this evening, is the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Bill, Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023. No, it's in the order paper.
Order, members, we proceed to the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023, and we are in the Committee of the Whole House.
Clause 3.
Are there amendments? Where is the chair? Same. So, Chair, you will still have to proceed. Very well, we begin with the clause 3. I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. There being no amendments, I now put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 4 be amended as per the order paper. This proposal is seeking to delete a redundant words and provisions contained in the National Council of Population Development Order 2004. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Very well. I now propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. I'll take it again. I now propose the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chair.
Put the question.
I now put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 4 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question that clause 5 be part of the bill.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 5 be amended as per the order paper. This proposed amendment is seeking to provide clarity on the objectives of the Population Council and to provide for an additional objective of the Council. The existing National Council for Population Development plays a key role in reporting in Kenya's progress on development during processes such as the International Conference on Population and Development, both at the regional level and the United Nations. Therefore, the proposed amendment is seeking to provide for additional objective of the Council to coordinate the development and submission of population reports by the various stakeholders in Kenya.
Very well, Chair. I now propose the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Thank you. I now put the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I propose the question that clause 6 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 6 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is seeking to provide clarity on the functions of the Council and to provide for 2 additional functions of the Council, which are to advise the relevant ministry on global commitments, agreements, and declarations adopted by the state relevant to population development, and 2, to collaborate with other state agencies and bodies for the effective discharge of its functions. These additional functions arise since the Council plays a critical role in global commitments within its purview, and there is need for the Council to collaborate with other institutions to bolster its productivity.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair.
Put the question.
I now put the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 6 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I propose the question that clause 7 be part of the bill.
Amendment.
Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 7 be amended as per the order paper. For starters, this proposed amendment is seeking to provide for representation of Hindu Council of Kenya, since it falls within the ambit of Joint Forum of Religious Organizations. And secondly, the proposed amendment is seeking to provide safeguards for consideration of gender, ethnic, and regional diversity of the people of Kenya, persons with disabilities, and the youth in the nomination and appointment to the persons of the Council. This is in line with the constitutional representation of these groups. Lastly, the proposed amendment is seeking to correct some clerical errors and provide clarity on appointment of persons to the Council. So, Honorable Chair, this is in line with the Constitution that provides for inclusion of youth, women, people with disabilities, and marginalized communities into the board of the National Council for Population.
I propose the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Yes.
Chair, I wish to support this amendment, and especially because of recognition of religious organizations as far as the contribution that they give, I mean, their contribution to the governance of this country. I support.
Very well, honorable members. I now put the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 7 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clauses 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 be part of the bill. Honorable members, there are no amendments to these clauses. I proceed now to put the question that clauses 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I propose the question that clause 19 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 19 be amended as per the order paper. This proposed amendment is seeking to provide for the functions of the Corporation Secretary. This is in line with the Mwongozo Code of Governance for State Corporations.
I propose the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 19 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Chair, take your place. Order, members. We have to follow. Order, members. Order. Order. Please. Order. We were losing out. I will not call out any name, but order. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I will take it again. That I now put the question that clause 19 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28.
I propose the question that clauses 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28 be part of the bill. Honorable members, there are no amendments to these clauses, and I therefore now put the question that clauses 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill.
Honorable Chair, this proposal is seeking to amend clause 29, which was providing for consultant services offered to the council or by the council, and because this has a substantial challenge of being abused. So, Honorable Chair, the bill was providing specifically, clause 29, that the council may engage consultancy services to other institutions. And we're wondering why that was really necessary. So we propose that this particular proposal be deleted so as not subject to abuse. I best move on, Honorable Chair.
Very well, I propose the question that clause 29 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 29 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 30.
I propose the question that clause 30 be part of the bill.
Honorable Chair, this is also a clause that we found interesting. Clause 30 reads, a notice or document shall be served in the council by delivering them at the office of the Director General. And 2, the office of the Director General shall serve documents or notice to other institutions as need arises. And Honorable Chair, we were at pain to understand why such a small administrative matter like submission of documents needed to be in an act of parliament. And that's why we are proposing its deletion because it can be addressed administratively rather than being a part of a legislative or legal framework.
Very well, Chair. I now propose the question that clause 30 be deleted as proposed by the Chair. I now put the question that clause 30 be deleted as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
I propose the question that clause 31 be part of the bill. Chair.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 31 be amended as per the order paper. This proposal is seeking an amendment to specify matters to be provided for in regulations and to align clause 31 of the bill with Standing Order number 118. It provides that every bill that confers on any state organ, state officer, or a person the authority to make provision, making the force of law in Kenya in terms of Article 94(6) of the Constitution, shall contain a separate and distinct part of the bill under the provisions on delegated powers, in which shall expressly specify. So A, the purpose of the objective for which that authority is conferred, B, the limits of the authority, C, the nature of scope of the law which may be made, and D, the principles and standards applicable to the law made under the authority. So I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chair.
Put the question.
I now put the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 31 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I propose the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 32 be amended as per the paper. This proposal is seeking to provide for the definition of terms used in the proposed amendment to part 5 of the bill.
I propose the question that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the Chair.
Put the question.
I now put the question that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 32 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 33.
I propose the question that clause 33 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 33 be amended as per the paper. This proposed amendment is seeking to revoke the State Corporation's National Council for Population Development Order of 2004. This is because the bill is now seeking to provide for a success of the council and a new legal framework. So as the current council exists under this order, the State Corporation's National Council for Population Development Order number 204. But now, since now we are creating them under an act of parliament, now this is now revoking the order that was established in the institution, because now we are establishing them under an act of parliament in which we are debating the bill now.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Yes, Tuku Kwenya. Use the mic that is just next to you on your left.
Chair, I wish to support this amendment because failure to revoke or to revoke NCPD now will definitely give life to two state corporations, one by gazette notice and the other one by act of parliament, and therefore I support.
Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 33 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 4A.
I beg to move that new clause 4A be now read a second time, that the bill be amended inserting the following new clause immediately after clause 4. that the headquarters of the council shall be in Nairobi. The council may establish and such other offices in Kenya as it may consider necessary for the discharge of its functions. This proposed amendment is seeking to provide that the headquarters of the council to be in Nairobi to ensure accessibility of its services, but also necessitate them or give them leeway to have some other branches across the country.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 4A. I now propose the question that the new clause 4A be now read a second time.
For the question.
I now put the question that the new clause 4A be now read a second time. Will as many as without opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as with contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the new clause 4A be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 4A be part of the bill. Will as many as without opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as with contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 9A.
Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 9A be now read a second time. Honorable Chair, this new clause 9A is now providing for the minimum requirements to be a member of the National Council for Population and Development, and it's now requiring that each person, for one to be appointed on the board, then they must possess at least a degree from a recognized university in Kenya.
I propose the question that the new clause 9A be now read a second time.
For the question.
I now put the question that the new clause 9A be now read a second time. Will as many as without opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as with contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 9A be part of the bill. I proceed to put the question that the new clause 9A be part of the bill. Will as many as without opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as with contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 17A.
I propose, mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 17A be now read a second time. This new clause 17A is providing for the duration of tenure for the position of the Director General for the National Council for Population and Development, requiring them, as per the Mwongozo Code of Governance for State Corporations, for them to be eligible for only one further term. So they can be appointed for a period of 4 years, but they're only eligible for only one further term. This is to avoid the issue where some officers now stay as heads of institutions almost in perpetuity. Honorable Chair, I beg to move.
I propose the question that new clause 17A be now read a second time. I see interest. We begin with the leader.
Just a concern, leader. You know, the Mwongozo Code says 3 years. And I don't know why we are doing something very different from what we are actually amending a lot of laws to align them to the 3 years Mwongozo and 1 term renewable. But I can hear 4 years, Honorable Speaker, which I think is not what the Mwongozo says.
Chair, you have some cake to bite. Yes, Honorable Yakundi. Yes.
It is also a concern to me that most institutions, the term limit is almost 3 years renewable. How comes the Mwongozo one is a 4-year term?
Mwongozo is 3.
Or Mwongozo is 3 years. Then I want to support it. Chair, thank you.
Very well. Yes, Tuku Kwenya. Why? You are a member of that committee?
No, I'm not a member of that committee,
Proceed.
but I have interest in this matter. Chairman, one thing that perturbs me is that we keep on referring to Mwongozo guidelines. Mwongozo guideline is not an act of parliament. It's a creation and a policy document by the ministries or the hopes. And Chair, there's a lot of contradiction and inconsistencies in as far as state corporations are concerned. And it worries me every time we are legislating that either we are quoting Mwongozo guidelines, in other areas we are not quoting the same. And the reason as to why we are not quoting Mwongozo in some areas is because it has no basis in law, and therefore always beats us off balance, because we are quoting a document or a policy that is not anchored anywhere in the statutes.
Yes, let's first hear from CPA. Both of them are CPAs. But that's the
Thank you,
Vice
Chair. I want to bring to the attention of my good friend that under the principles of good governance, the aspect of limiting that time, and that's what guided Mwongozo, it is pecking on the good best practices. that supports all the other laws all down, especially on issues of management. So it's something that we need to adopt, maybe on areas that you would want to propose.
Honorable
amendment.
Ruto,
Yes.
order. The main matter in the House is what
yes, I was
ask.
trying to bring out the issue you raised on Mongoso, because this is what we are discussing as a matter that in line or aligning with Mongoso. That's why this particular proposal is coming in.
Why would you quote aligning with Mongoso and do something different from Mongoso?
Thank you.
Let's hear just Tuku 1 second, and then we come to the chair.
Chair, you see, if we allow ourselves to continue quoting these Mongoso guidelines and we are legislating, then we are relegating ourselves to the point of whereby now we have to follow a document that has no legal basis whatsoever, save for what CP Ruto is trying to imply, that these are best practices that are not anchored here in law. And I think the best thing that would happen, Mr. Chairman, is that we statutorize Mongoso guidelines so that then any state corporation...
You have given the answer.
Yeah, we do not need it.
Because I was going to tell you, you bring this business as a substantive matter to the House. Proceed, Chair.
So, Honorable Chair, I have consulted widely, including with my leader here. So the leader is going to move the next bill, an amendment to the Kenya Roads Board. That's going to limit the time of the board members to 3 years. And I think as a House, it's important that become consistent, not just in the way we legislate, but also in how we treat our different entities. And therefore, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that I further amend the new clause 17A to read the following, that the Director General shall be appointed for a term of 3 years and shall be eligible for reappointment for a further 1 term. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Yes, Honorable Thuku.
You know, just as a matter of procedure, Chair, I would want you to give direction as to whether the chairman is in order to even attempt to propose that amendment. On the floor, we do not have the amendment with us, and therefore we have not had time even to internalize the same and to understand what it is that he's trying to move. And therefore, Chair, I wish that you just rule him out of order and just follow the rate of procedures of this House. I hope.
Chair. Let me hear a leader.
Chair, you know, an amendment, if I suggest an amendment on a bill that is not mine, then I require to circulate all that.
Order, Honorable Thuku.
But this bill belongs to the chairperson. It is his bill. And he can move an amendment within an amendment, Honorable Speaker. And you don't have to have it. You've already had it. And we are just actually trying to be consistent with policy, Honorable Speaker. So let's make progress, Honorable Kenyan Thuku. We respect your sentiments on this. We hold you in high esteem that you refused this one. But, Honorable Speaker, let's make progress.
Honorable Thuku, the procedure has been followed. If you go to our standing order number 133, it clearly explains what the chair has done and is very much in order. You can refer. Can we hear Honorable, one more member want to speak on this there? General.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think we are a house of tradition, customs, and when the chair is going to move an amendment, that does not substantively have effect on the body of that law being debated, then I think it's in order. It's not the first time we are doing it. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, still more contribution? Yes, let's hear. Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Personally, I rise to support the chair, the amendment of the chair.
Members, let me proceed now to propose the question that a new clause 17A be further amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable members, I proceed to put the question that a new clause 17A be further amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the new clause 17A be part of the bill. I proceed, as amended by the chair. I proceed to put the question that the new clause 17A be part of the bill as amended by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We proceed.
New clause 33A.
Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 33A be now read a second time. This proposed amendment is seeking to retain the substance of clause 32 of the bill on transfers of assets and liabilities, but in its place, it logically, in the context of other amendment, and redrafted it in line with other amendments. So, Honorable Chair, this is just cleaner.
I propose the question that the new clause 33A be now read a second time. Yes, on Thuku, Kwenya. Use the mic.
Chair, this is a very useful amendment because of perpetuity, whatever was in the defunct now NCPD, and now all the assets, liabilities, and obligations now be transferred to the new found Kenya National Population Council. I support.
So you support? Yeah. Honorable members, I put the question that the new clause 33A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 33A be part of the bill. Honorable members, I proceed to put the question that the new clause 33A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 33B.
Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 3B be now read a second time. This proposed amendment is seeking to retain what we amended in clause 33 so that we make it on a transitional basis for the employees of the council so that we also arrange it in a logical flow and also provide clarity in this in a new drafting.
I propose the question that the new clause 33B be now read a second time. Let's hear Honorable Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, I do support this particular amendment by the committee because what it seeks to do is also just protect those who are already in office, ensure that there's continuity, and just make sure that this is actually engraved in law so that nobody ever comes to them and tries to interfere with what is going on. So I support this amendment.
Tuku.
Thank you, Chair. As my colleague has just stated, for purposes of continuity and security of China of the workers that we are working with now, the defunct NCPD, this amendment now assures them that there's not going to be any disruption in as far as their services to the newfound Kenya National Population Council is concerned. I support, Chair.
I put the question that the new clause 33B be now read a second time. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 33B be part of the bill. I proceed to put the question that the new clause 33B be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 33C.
Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the new clause 33C be now read a second time. This proposed amendment is seeking to provide for transition mechanism for legal proceedings by or against the National Council for Population Development established under the state corporations, the order of 2004. Honorable Chair, again, if there may exist some legal proceedings on or against the council, now currently registered under that order. Now, once we move them into an act of parliament, then we're saying now there will be that transitional process. And I think, Honorable Chair, I think one of the issues, if I remember correctly, has been the contestation on some of the population data for some of populations in the country. And therefore, where that contestation exists, now they'll move now to proceed with them even now when they are registered under an act of parliament.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the new clause 33C be now read a second time. Yes, Dido Razo.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think looking at this particular amendment, it is to ensure the rights of Kenyans is safeguarded. Although it will just talk about something to do with legal proceeding, imagine you have a pending bill before that institution, and by dint of this law, somebody says you cannot claim it. So for that reason, this is a very important amendment, and I support.
Honorable members, I put the question that the new clause 33C be now read a second time. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 33C be part of the bill. I proceed to put the question that the new clause 33C be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 33D.
Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 33D be now read a second time. And I want to thank Honorable Russell for that contribution. And maybe to speak to the matter that he raised, this 33D even speaks more to the rights of those that may have had contractual engagement with the council before the enactment of this law, because it reads that the bill is amended by inserting the following new subsection, 33D, in reference to the former council in any written law or in any contract, document or instrument of whatever nature, shall on the appointed day be read and constructed as reference to the successor council. So this takes care of all the contracts, including contractual obligations or pending bills, whatever it is, that have existed with the council registered under the current order when they transition now into being now registered under an act of parliament when this house approves this particular bill.
I propose the question that the new clause 33D be now read a second time.
Put the question.
I now put the question that the new clause 33D be now read a second time. Will as many as that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 33D be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 33D be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 33E.
Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 33E be amended as per the order, and be now read a second time. This is providing, I read, all directions, orders, and resolutions given by the former council and substituting or valid immediately after the appointed day shall be deemed to have been given, issued, or made by the successor council. Again, this is a transitional clause that's providing that any directions or order or authorizations that may have been given by the council will deemed to have been given by the successive council that now we are creating through this act of parliament.
I propose the question that the new clause 33E be now read a second time. I hear Wanjiku, Honorable Wanjiku.
Thank you, Chair. It's a good amendment in terms of continuity, but with a rider, because in the event the council is ending its term, we have seen in this country time and again, people appoint or bring people of their own reference, then they are deemed to be successful or continue with the new council.
Very well. Yes, let's hear Thuku. Thuku seemed to have been more interested, very interested in this particular one.
Yes, Chair, and thank you for that observation. It is because I think this is one of those very good amendments that we've done in this house, just to make sure that there are no gray areas so that then there's continuity. We have seen a situation whereby an organization is succeeded by legislation, as we are doing today, by passage of a statute, and whoever else had interest in the defunct institution is left vulnerable. But this amendment has made sure that it's watertight, so that then every gray area is taken care of. The fact that this passage of all the authorizations and permits or anything that had been done by by the previous body, which is NCPD, now is carried over without grey areas is a good thing, and without sunset, so that then you not say, after 10 years, this cannot be affected. Anything that was affected by the former council will be taken over by this Kenya National Council that has been established by the statute. Thank you.
Mayaka, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just want to make a general comment, not only on this particular clause, but all the other transitional clause, because they are not only giving room for continuity, but they're also very protective, so that we are not leaving any room for any ambiguity. Should there be any complaints or any issues that involve the law. So I really commend the committee for coming up with these transitional amendments. Thank you.
Great. I now put the question that the new clause 33E be now read a second time. Will as many as without opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 33E be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 33E be part of the bill. Will as many as without opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Schedule.
There are no amendments on the schedules. I propose the question that the schedule be part of the bill. I now put the question that the schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as without opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that there's an amendment. I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 2 is amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, in the bill, this clause 2 is on definitions. Clause 2 is defining population to mean the total number of persons inhabiting in a defined geographical area. So we are changing that to bring more clarity to the meaning of population, to mean the following. Population means the total number of persons inhabiting within the border of a country, region, or in a defined geographical area. So we are providing more clarity to what population is, so that it does not mean just a number of people inhabiting a defined geographical area. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be part of the bill. I now put the question that the title be part of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I proceed to put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We've come to the end, and therefore, is there something? Proceed, Honorable Millie, on your point of order.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, sometimes we multitask, so we might be lost on things, but we also have the power of recommittal. And because of that, I just wanted to find out whether the Evangelical Alliance is actually a legal entity. Is it a legal entity?
Chair, can you clarify?
Okay.
Leader, you can also be on the call of the chair.
It's a registered society under the law. And there is the law registering societies. It's a registered society under the law.
Honorable Ruto, what did you want to say as the chair? CPA Ruto, what did you want to say? Yes,
Chair, I was just joking my mind that most of these active societies are registered under the Societies Act, which is the law, and therefore it gives them power to operate by virtue of that law, that is regional societies. But maybe Chair has got a different advisory from our legal team.
Chair, are you ready? Yes, I am. Yes.
So thank you, our senior, the Honorable Millie Thiambo, for raising that particular point. This is one of the matters that was also raised during public participation. If you notice, the bill clause 8 recognizes the following institutions as the people that are going to nominate people into the board. 3 persons nominated by the Joint Forum of Religious Organizations, consisting of Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Kenyan Muslims, comma, Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, comma, National Christian Churches of Kenya, and Evangelical Alliance. However, during public participation, we noticed that this Evangelical Alliance, the way they are registered under the Societies Act, they are registered as Kenya Evangelical Alliance. And that is why I moved an amendment to this clause 6 to add Kenya before the word Evangelical Alliance, so that it now reads Kenya Evangelical Alliance. So to satisfy your question, that now Kenya Evangelical Alliance is now included as one of the institutions that will nominate someone to the board. But the bill, as previously drafted, provided for Evangelical Alliance, which does not exist under the Societies Act, because the Societies Act recognizes Kenya Evangelical Alliance.
Honorable Millie, you seem to have a rebuttal, just in 1 minute.
Yes, just in 1 minute, Chair. It's actually my mistake because I should have raised it earlier. But Chair, I'd want to request that to be inclusive, next time also add the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Kenya, because I don't think they fit in any of those categories. You have immediately precluded me and my husband, and John Mbadi, and several others. So, yes, and the treasurer.
Chair,
Yeah.
I think Chair has heard you. Very well. We have actually completed this particular business, and therefore I want to call upon the mover, the Chair. What is out of order? But I give you a chance. Please give her the mic. Let's hear what Honorable wants to say.
Chair, considering what Honorable Millie have put across, I am considering the Chair that more addition on amendment should be added to even include Legio Maria, Roy Israeli, Akorino, Honorable Kawanjiko is there. And this is going to be more inclusive so that we don't exclude anyone on basis of religion. From the way the Chair I had, you have your own.
Very well.
Thank you so much.
We have heard you, but again, we had actually concluded this. So therefore, you want to speak on this? This is the mover. Proceed.
Now, I just want to say before I move, Honorable Speaker, that all those institutions that have been mentioned, including the Legio Maria and all those, belong to the Evangelical Alliance. The Evangelical Alliance, of course, the SD, but the Evangelical Alliance has over 300 churches under its umbrella. I've just checked, over 300 churches. So, and they all subscribe to the same organization. Okay. And therefore, all these churches that are being mentioned are part of that, probably except the Seventh-day Adventists, who have very good teachings, and that's why Millie is well brought up, because she belongs to the SDA. Now, therefore, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Very well. Honorable members, I now put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
The chairperson on the finance bill to report to the House. I've said the chairperson who treated the matter of the finance bill to report to the House.
Very well. On behalf of the chair, David Ochieng, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the committee of the whole House has considered the finance bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025, and approved the same with amendments.
The mover of the bill to move agreement with the report.
So, Honorable Speaker, I beg, maybe before I move, Honorable Speaker, is to really thank the members of this House for the great, robust debate that you've had, because I think, I strongly believe it has enriched our debate and informs how we are going to carry out this particular exercise even in future. So, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Finance Bill, National Bill number 19 of 2025, and its consideration thereof, and I request Honorable Shiforomondo, the MP for the great people of Lungalunga, to second.
Honorable Shiforomondo.
Chair, I second.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025. Who wants to speak to this? Yeah. Yes, Honorable Omboko Mlembe.
I'm a member of Parliament for Emuhaya. Honorable Speaker, let me thank the members who sat through since yesterday. The debate was, yes, very, very good, and the members participated well, and that's why some of the clauses, especially, for instance, the clause on limiting the space, private space of members, did not require more debate this afternoon because the members had exhausted the debate yesterday. And again, today, the members have sat through, and consistently so, including the chair of budget, who has been in the House throughout just to follow the proceedings, plus many other members. And the contributions were across the aisle, and this has been very good, meaning that this is a finance bill that is actually acceptable by the entire House. And this is great because there was a lot of consultation, and there was also a lot of public participation, and the people's views were actually put in consideration. And therefore, I want to thank the honorable members for a job well done. Indeed, like the Chair of Finance did indicate, the finance bill should not just be a tax-raising measure only, but also to direct policy. And I think our economy needs now to create the stem and resilience so that then, therefore, we can go for the vertical expansion of the tax space. But for now, we deal with the horizontal bit so that we can build resilience for our economy. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
Any more contributions? Yes, the Honorable Makali Mulu. Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join honorable colleagues in appreciating the good work which has been done by the Committee on Finance and Planning. and the contributions by members in today's third reading. It's been very enlightening, Honorable Speaker, and I want to appreciate that the Chair of Finance could at times drop some of the amendments for the sake of this country. There are other things which are not in the bill, Honorable Speaker, but which we mentioned yesterday during the debate, which can improve our financial management and revenue-raising measures. And I just want to, in a very summarized way, to mention 3 items. One of them, Honorable Speaker, is the item on revenue leakages. Honorable Speaker, even as we appreciate the fact that KRA needs to collect more taxes, it's also important that we appreciate that there is need to ensure that whatever is collected from Kenyans, because it's out of hard work, is managed prudently for the sake of this country. The third matter, Honorable Speaker, is there are lots of Kenyans who are not paying taxes, and more so because of the nature of our economy, which is more of informal. I think we want to ensure, Honorable Speaker, that we bring as many Kenyans to the target bracket, to the tax bracket, so that we have more people paying taxes, and then we can think of reducing the tax rates so that people have more money in their pockets. In that case, they can trigger economic activity in the country, which will lead to economic growth, which is good for the country. The last item, Honorable Speaker, there was a proposal, I don't know from which organization, a proposal to review our payee bans. I still insist, Chairman, that matter, you and your committee take it seriously. It is a very progressive proposal. And if we can implement it, it will be good for this country. Otherwise, thank you, honorable members, for all the contributions we have made to this bill.
Members, we have the Equalization Fund appropriation bill to deal with. We also have the appropriation bill to deal with. And so I'm going to give all of you a chance, but please make it brief. The Honorable Samuel Atandi, the Chair of Budget and Appropriations Committee.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Let me also join my colleagues in appreciating the competence and the leadership of the Chairman of Finance Committee, my brother CPAK Kimani Kuria, who has ably led this committee since we joined this parliament. Honorable Speaker, for the first time, I think we have a finance bill which is not controversial. And this is because of the manner in which the committee executed its responsibilities in listening to the public. But I also need to thank the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, who also went out of his way to educate Kenyans on the contents of the finance bill this time round. Because, Honorable Speaker, you noted that during the public participation forums that were organized by the National Treasury, there were cases where the Cabinet Secretary had to explain to Kenyans who were being misled by opponents of broad-based government that the bill was going to tax them massively, and even there are some taxes that did not even exist, but Kenyans were being informed that those taxes were there. So I want to thank collectively National Treasury, CS, and the Chairman and members of Finance and Finance Committee. Even when you saw us trying to disagree on the floor of the House, we were simply testing our levels of understanding of the contents of the bill. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, going forward, we have resolved that both the Finance Committee and the Budget Committee will be working together to understand the proposals contained in the finance bill as well as the estimates, so that there's always harmony in the way these two bills work for the benefit of all Kenyans. We all want Kenya to prosper, and we all want our country to grow. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to laud the committee and thank members of this House who are still here and who have actively participated. As we move to the next session where we are going to start the final two bills, appropriations bill and equalization bill, I also want to ask members to continue sitting here so that collectively we can finish these two bills, which are very, very important in our budget process. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Atandi. Indeed, those bills will be debated to conclusion today. So all those people who are interested in the two to begin walking back to the House. The Honorable Owen Baya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee and everybody that has participated in this Finance Bill 2025, Honorable Speaker. I look forward, Honorable Speaker, to a situation where this country handles one finance bill in 2-3 years, so that we don't have to keep on changing laws here and sometimes all these many changes could get lost in the many amendments that we make. I look forward, Kimani Kuria would have one finance bill, after 3 years, another finance bill, so that we are consistent in application of the law and in the taxation regimes, instead of every financial year changing our taxation regimes. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, and this is fundamental, and I want to say this, even those that are living could hear. When I was a first timer in this house, there are people who mentored me and groomed me in terms of dealing with third reading. The Honorable Meli Mabona would always appear at third reading only. And I asked myself why, and the sweetness of the debate is in second reading. But she would come here in third reading only. And I asked myself why. Then I realized she influences a lot of the bills and laws that pass here. The Honorable Makali Mulu would always be here. The Honorable, no, definitely I couldn't know. The Honorable Pukose. And those that, and of course the chair, the speaker, TJ. There are certain people who made us who we are. But Honorable Speaker, looking around these days, I do not see, apart from Mayaka, and probably now Nyakundi is here, I don't see people getting interested in actually the lawmaking, and that should worry us as a house. Because there are no new faces in terms of coming in here to make third reading. And I think, Honorable Mili Mabona, you have a job in your hands to train the ladies to be like you in terms of making law, just like Mayaka has consistently stayed here. Even my friend, the one from Mboni, yes, he has always been here in third reading, because that is where the law is made. That is when you make a difference in this country, not the second reading where we just talk and talk. But, Honorable Speaker, we need to find a way to bring new entrants. Otherwise, I can assure you, if we have new members in the 14th Parliament, we would have a problem doing third reading and doing committee of the whole. So, Honorable Speaker, I don't know what you will do, but the numbers in third reading are thinning. And that's not good for this country, Honorable Speaker. I thank you.
A chick that will grow into a cock is seen at birth, at the time they are hatched. So we know from the time Honorable Rene Mayaka came, we knew she would be a great legislator. Honorable Mayaka, make your contributions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And you know very well I learned from the best. Honorable Speaker, I just want to also give my accolades to the committee that is led by fellow CPA Kimani Kuria, this particular finance bill, and especially the theme around encouraging policy rather than just looking at the common mwananchi and increasing taxation. Honorable Speaker, and this is something that I wish more legislators were here to listen, because we are the first people who should be prosecuting this matter in the court of public opinion. The public needs to hear from us, because in the past we have experienced situations where people have always treated the finance bill as an enemy of the people without really seeing the nitty-gritty of it. But this particular one has been able to show us that we can make and we can prosecute a finance bill that is actually beneficial to mwananchi. And so, Honorable Speaker, even as I make my remarks and thank the committee, I also just want to urge our parliamentary communication, when they do their communication on our social media platforms, that we need to show Kenyans the key wins, the big wins for Kenyans out there, so that they can learn that this is a very good thing. Honorable Speaker, for me, the greatest benefit out of this finance bill, and I think I've spoken to it twice, is still on the matter of no taxation towards the pension funds and the retirement benefits. So with those very few remarks, Honorable Speaker, once again, I just want to urge Kenyans to really familiarize themselves with this particular finance bill. It is a good document. It is a fantastic one. And I think we just need to encourage each other that the country is going in the right direction. I thank you.
The question relevant to where we are and all preceding matters will be put when this business will come to the House in future. I want the chairperson to report to the House on the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023. Chairperson. Would you give the chairperson the mic?
Asante sana. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the whole House has considered the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023, and approved the same with amendments.
Would the mover move agreement with the report?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the whole House on its consideration of the Kenya National Council for Population and Development, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important piece of legislation to set up the Kenya National Population Council, Kenya National Council for Population and Development, Honorable Speaker. For many years, Honorable Speaker, we had of a Kenya National Council for Population, but it had been anchored on a legal notice. But now we're actually giving the law so that we can set up the institution, and this is a positive move. And I want to thank the committee, chaired by the Honorable Kimani Kuria, for a good job. We now have a law that establishes this organization, and I love the transitional clauses. We have passed laws here which have eventually been controversial in the sense that you do not know where the staff will go and all that kind of thing. But I think we have a solid organization. This law is very solid to actually put together an organization, Honorable Speaker, that will take matters population in this country forward. And on that note, Honorable Speaker, I would like to request the Minority Whip to second.
The Minority Whip, the Honorable Millie Grace Akoth Odhiambo Mabona.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do rise to second and thank the Chair of Finance for a very good job for this and the previous bill on finance that has taken into account the issues and concerns of Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, I know for this segment it's not a debate, but really to congratulate and raise one or two issues. But I just want to say that contrary to the concern of a Deputy Majority Leader, is that from my experience, actually, we are doing much, much, much better as a House. The Committee of the whole House and the third reading usually attract very little interest because it's a real place where the rubber meets the road. But increasingly, as the Parliament is growing younger and more intellectual, with greater capabilities, I see members doing a lot more. And so I just want to thank. One of the things I would want to encourage, not just because this will affect not just the bill on the population, but other bills that will be coming up, that we need to look at the diversity, the religious diversity of the country, and configure a way of being inclusive. That the moment you say, for instance, I know when you are talking from a national level, the SDS may be a minority, if you think about it as at a national level. But in my constituency, SDS are 80 or more than 80% of the constituency. So for you, it might look like a minority, but for me, it is a majority. And so when we put them, because we must appreciate everybody in their manifestations and forms. And so I would want us to consider a manner in which the Christian faith is inclusive, and the way in which the Muslim, Hindu, and other faiths are also inclusive. Otherwise, I do second. And thank you.
Members, I propose the question that this House do agree with the committee, with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023. The Honorable Kimani Kuria, you want to speak to this?
Yes, Honorable Chair, sorry to take you back, but one of the conversations that this Parliament and this conversation has done, and also came out prominently during public participation, and if you read the report, you'll see that is one of our recommendations. We need to revisit our PAYE bans. If you check, Honorable Speaker, the first 208,000 shillings per annum is taxed at an income tax rate of 10%. The next 100,000 is taxed at 25%. And then there is a skip of all the way to between an annual salary of up to now that's 380,000 to 5.612 million at 30%. And therefore, that huge jump, Honorable Speaker, is something that needs to be reconsidered. But most importantly, the next 3.6 million is taxed at 32.5%, and then income above 9.6 charged at 35%. Honorable Chair, at a time when we are considering reducing the corporation tax rate, and a time when we have actually preferential corporate tax rate for particular institutions, it's important that we think in future to revisit these PAYE bans. And we actually asked the National Treasury in our report to do an analysis of what this impact will be in terms of numbers, so that we try to reduce, to have more disposable income available to Kenyans on their pay-as-you-earn. Honorable Speaker, a company, for them to calculate their corporation tax, they are allowed to deduct their tax allowable expenses, that rent or power bills. But no, for employed people, they're not allowed to deduct the expenses that they incur in the generation of their income. So your transport to work is not considered when they are calculating your pay-as-you-earn, but the transportation that a company does in their course of business is considered as a tax-deductible expense. So we have actually asked National Treasury to do, and KRA to do an analysis of this, and hopefully in the subsequent legislation, then we're looking forward to review this, so that at least we try to have a higher disposable income available to Kenyans. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for magnanimity in agreeing that I contribute to this, even when this matter had already passed. Thank you.
Honorable Kimani Kuria, because it is so important, I allowed you to speak to it because we are on a different subject, but it's very important. And I know the contribution you've made, though belated, pleases Honorable Makali Mulu. Would I remind all of us that we are on the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill? Yes, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Mr. Speaker, sometimes it's good to help us as a legal mind. And because he was also saying very nice things, I decided to be quiet. But in future, just create a link. And the link to say, like now you are talking about population. So all you say is the population of Kenya has grown immensely, but you see because of this tax, I don't know what, and you'll raise the issues. Population. That's the entry point.
Yes, so again, honorable members, the question for the adoption of the report of the committee and other matters remaining under this particular bill will be transacted in the future when the House Business Committee will next schedule it to be transacted. Next order. The Honorable Dido Raso never raises a point of order. What is out of order today? The directions I've given are all for the convenience of the House.
Thank you very much, Speaker. As you are giving chances to those who are speaking, I notice you are biased to your left. Maybe I think I don't know, I cannot really prove that you are limited by your peripheral vision on the right. Please, in future, those of us in the House also wish to contribute. Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Dido Raso, never ever attribute any form of bias to the Speaker. The Speaker observes the entire House and recognizes each and every member according to when they are recognized. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, next order. I'm informed the Speaker had ordered that matter appearing as order number 10 comes first. Was it? Number 9. Which one was to come before, going by the directions of the substantive speaker? Number 10. Yeah, so call order number 10.
Order number 10, the Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025, second reading.
Mover.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025, be read a second time. Honorable Speaker, this bill authorizes the issuance of funds from Consolidated Fund to finance national government expenditure for the year 2025-2026 financial year. This bill, Honorable Speaker, was introduced here in the National Assembly and read for the first time yesterday, June 17, 2025. The bill is a cornerstone of Kenya's annual budget process, enabling the government to implement its spending priorities for the fiscal year. Honorable Speaker, this bill follows the approval of budget estimates by this House. And Honorable Speaker, if you can remember, the budget, we approved a total budget of approximately 4.23 trillion, which is equivalent of 22.3% of our national GDP. The budget estimates include 1.8 trillion for ministerial recurrent expenditure, 1.3 trillion for interest payments on debt and pensions, and 472.5 billion for ministerial development expenditure. Honorable Speaker, additionally, 2 billion has been set aside for contingency fund, and 405.1 billion has been allocated as equitable share to county governments. Honorable Speaker, just to comment on the county allocations, is to report that following the conclusion of the mediation process this afternoon, in which the report has already been tabled on the House, the county share by allocations now is no longer 405 billion. We are now allocating 415 billion as shareable revenue to counties. I needed to clarify that. Honorable Speaker, just let me also just make brief comments on the revenue projections. Honorable Speaker, we are projecting to collect 3.3 trillion as total revenue project. That is inclusive of ordinary revenue, which is 2.7 trillion, 46.6 billion as grants from donors. And Honorable Speaker, in the area of fiscal deficit, we are going to borrow 923 billion to fund the fiscal deficit. This will be 4.8% of GDP as fiscal deficit. Honorable Speaker, looking at the borrowing structure, locally, Honorable Speaker, we are going to borrow 635 billion, while we are going to borrow another 287 billion from external sources. Honorable Speaker, these allocations are going to fund multiple development projects in the country. For example, in the area of agriculture, we have allocated 47.6 billion to fund our agricultural sector. Honorable Speaker, you know that agriculture is a cornerstone of this economy, and for the last 2 years, inflation has been able to come down, courtesy of the food production that has been realized in this country, courtesy of the allocations we've been able to give the agricultural sector. Honorable Speaker, we have 8 billion allocated to fertilizer subsidies. Honorable Speaker, you know this is one of the biggest gains that has helped us to fund the agricultural sector and to increase production. Honorable Speaker, we are allocating 133.4 billion to our health sector. This is the allocation that is going to help us manage primary health care and all other matters that affect our health systems. Honorable Speaker, on the energy sector, we are allocating 62.8 billion to help us in all electricity concerns, including rural electrification, etc. Honorable Speaker, and the biggest chunk of this budget is going to fund the education sector, where we are allocating 658 billion in the entire sector. TSC will take the largest share. And Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to give you a brief of some of the critical allocations that we have been able to fund, and which this appropriations bill, when turned into law, is going to help us to process. Honorable Speaker, because the appropriations bill is a product of the total estimates which you already passed here when we were processing the Committee of Supply. I know that members were able to get the opportunity to discuss the bill at the Committee of Supply, and there is really nothing new which we are introducing. We just want to pass the appropriations bill to give power, so that once the bill is signed into law, then now the government can be able to begin spending. So, Honorable Speaker, this is not a very difficult bill because most members have already gone through this bill in second reading, and therefore I don't want to belabor on this. The Cabinet Secretary for Treasury was also here, giving us the highlights of the critical expenditures. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, there's really nothing new that members should belabor in discussing this bill. I therefore would like to allow my Vice Chairman, Dr. Pukose, to second. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Speaker, I move and ask my able Vice Chairman, Dr. Pukose, to second.
The Honorable Pukose.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. I stand to second the appropriation bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025. As ably moved by my chair, Honorable Speaker, I think we prosecuted when most of it during the budget estimates and also most of it during the Committee of Supplies. And now this is the last stage of this bill that we are enabling the government and the other agencies, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary to access these funds. Honorable Speaker, as ably put, we've also, just as the chair put it, we've finished with the negotiations with the Senate, and now through the division of revenue, that increases the allocations to the Senate. And initially, with the current formula now that has also been read today by the Speaker and forwarded to the committee, that means that all the counties in the country will be able to at least access money for development by us agreeing to the 415 billion. So the counties that were feeling marginalized, like Elgeyo Marakwet, Taita Taveta, and others that were not accessing something, that increment has actually substantially moved with the new formula, which is the fourth formula by CRA that was submitted to the Senate and committed to this House. So, Honorable Speaker, what we hope is that this money will be used diligently, and we want to ask the EACC and other agencies to really do their work, make sure that there is no leakages, because that makes, when we have leakages and money ending in other people's pockets, what it means is that services are not able to be delivered. Honorable Speaker, in the budget estimates, we provided 13 billion to primary health care. That means health facilities in this country, level 2, level 3, and outpatient level 4, should be able to provide, you should be able to visit when you are sick those facilities and access these services. And we are hoping that with the ICT system in place, that the counties will be able to make sure that our people access healthcare services. You are able to walk into a hospital, be treated, and go home with medication. And we know KEMSA has also been capitalized, such that they are now able at a tune of 1.5 billion. That means with that recapitalization of KEMSA, we should be able to have supplies of medicines without any challenge. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question. Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2023, be now read a second time. want to give the first chance to the Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu because of rank in these matters.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. You know, Honorable Speaker, we joined this house the same day, and it's good to appreciate that being here 3 times is not easy. So, Honorable Nyakundi must appreciate that fact. Thank you so much. Honorable Speaker, I will not take even more than 4 minutes because, as my chairman said, this was discussed during the budget debate, discussed again during the Committee of Supplies, discussed when the CS was presenting the budget to us, and now we are here doing almost like the fourth time, and I think without much repeating, let me just raise 2 issues, Honorable Speaker. Our chairman has said that they have decided through mediation to increase the county allocation to 415. The allocation which was approved by this House was 405. At that time, when we approved the allocation of 405 billion, we had already pegged our borrowing to 4.5% of the GDP, which in figures was translating to 896 billion. So I think it would be important for the chairman to tell Kenyans, this additional 10 billion going to the counties, is it going to be part of the borrowing? Is it a reorganization? Because that must come out, because I think it will have impact on the budget deficit. The other issue, Honorable Speaker, which is closely tied to that, is that when we approved the budget ourselves as a House, we were at 896 in terms of billion borrowing. When the CS Treasury came and made his presentation, he mentioned the budget deficit will now move from